Yeah, alright, fuckers and fuckettes. I know you're probably going, alright, what's this crazy redneck showing us his aquarium for this time for? Well, what I've done this is the one in the living room, and it's a relatively small system. This is the one I'm experimenting with. Now, other than I've added this echozotic light that sits there and flashes and shit, the lighting really hasn't changed. I've still got the Kessel up here, which is an A 150W, and then this is a 2X14K generic skylight, I think is what it's called. And then the Evolution. Now the Evolution, it's 4 months old. It's already dropped 2 rows of LEDs. It did that on its own. It hasn't been wet, nothing like that. It's sitting on top of glass. Everything's nice and dry. And it just dropped 2 rows of LEDs for some god-awful reason, but the rest of it's still working, and actually it's almost a good thing that it dropped those 2 rows of LEDs, because my Fabia back there loves it now. It loved it to begin with, but it really likes it now. And my Zoes aren't getting burned as much. Well, my Zoes are doing good. Sorry about the algae on the glass, but I've had A batch of shrimp hatch out, and B, I've got baby snails all over the damn place. So the algae is going to remain for quite a while. But now, what I'm going to do to get rid of the microalgae, see, I've still got the little refugium going there until this gets established. I've just got a little rock divider in there. I've got some Chaeto started. This is on opposite lighting. This comes on at night. And why is it a little, 10-gallon piece of shit sitting here next to a 70-gallon? Well, that was what I was able to find with the same stand. Apparently this stand hasn't been made in some years. But, most people, they hide their refugiums underneath. And I figure, you know what? It's a fucking plant tank. Why can't I show off my plants and see what's crawling around in them? So now I've got when these lights go off at night, all I got to do is look at the little one and stare at all that little itty bitty shit. And my corals seem to be thriving. I mean, my Kenya trees are doing really good. All my Callistraea fricata are doing good. These clove polyps they've actually attached on their own. I'm giving away a few. My little green Callistraea fricata. Those are trumpets, peppermints, candy canes, whatever you want to call them. Same with those. My frog spawn didn't get wide at the top, but he's definitely gotten taller, and his base has gotten a shitload fatter, so I think he's starving for light now. Who knows? I know that my clam is doing good, and I love my clam. And I got to get rid of some of those waving hands back there. My zinnias are doing beautifully. I actually had to give away a handful of them. That's why the new rock there. Let's see if we can see down there. On top of that, that rock was bleach white when it came in a week ago. It's already got microalgae on it. I am not getting hair algae because I have enough plants to consume everything. And the ultimate goal with this, I've got the Hawaiian black and the Indo-Pacific black. Unfortunately, I was unable to find any of the Bahamas black sands, so I've got Hawaiian, and then the top layer is the Indo-Pacific black. And then in the main tank, of course, I've got the Caribbean. One bag was the regular Caribbean, and then one bag was Fiji. But why don't I mix the black with the white in the main tanks? I've found in the past that I end out with nothing but the Caribbean bacteria. If I do it this way, I end out with both sets, groups, whatever you want to call them, of beneficial bacteria. And this gives me my deep sand bed without having to have it in the main tank. And I'm coming out about right. Let's see, so that was 40 pounds, and that was 40 pounds, 80 pounds, 70, 80. I got 1 pound per gallon. So I'm still a little bit light on sand, but I'll eventually make up for it with rock. And what I've done here is I haven't hidden the pump. There's not enough room to hide that big motherfucker, but I put a 450 gallon an hour pump in there that you can dial down to just under 200 gallons an hour, because the only overflow that was attractive for me was this one. I mean, I can afford a bigger overflow. I just opted not to. And this is all seems to be working pretty damn good here. Eventually I'll drop the intake for the canister filter into this tank, but for right now I'm establishing this tank and keeping the old refugium. And like I say, later on it'll be down to one pump. Right now it's still two. Well, not still two, but right now it's temporarily two. And then as a tertiary experiment for my stony corals, I'm going to, if I can eventually find one, I want to find a 20 long, not a 20 tall, on the same stand. If I find the stand, I'll go buy the tank brand new. And even the difference between these two stands, this one's got, see, I mean, you know, the average person isn't going to notice, but I notice because it's sitting here in the living room and I stare at the damn thing all the time. All natural filtration, everything's doing good. I am supplementing a little bit of phytochrome and reef snow, but that's just because, you know, I'm a nerd and I like watching the shit come out, and I like watching my clam come out and start snapping stuff. It's just what I, you know, like I say, I'm a nerd. Oh man, my one mushroom has gotten huge. I got another one back there in the back, if I can, see if I can get it from here. Water's crystal clear. Oh, there's my scarlet hermit. Got coralline algae forming on the glass. Very nice. It's forming on my pumps too, my little circulation pumps. So if I go back from the scarlet hermit, there's my other mushroom that's nice and blue and iridescent. Got a few zoes back in there. I don't know if I can see this guy. I gotta get those similarians off of him. Actually, those are zinnias. And then I've got a little guy down in there. That guy is doing beautifully. See, I put him on the front edge of that rock right there. The green guy with all the heads in him. My sponge is doing beautifully, so my air trap idea worked. My air trap is nothing but a piece of, I cut off a piece of one of these that had fallen out of the box and broken, and I stuck my nozzle in there. And that's a little bit longer than the first piece of pipe I had in there, and it's working really well. Anyway, that's the progress on this experiment so far, and like I say, as soon as I find a 20 extra long, and well, as soon as I find the stand for a 20 extra long, I'll put it in here, and that'll be my stony area, because I really don't like mixing the stonies and the softies. I've always, in small systems like this, I've always had the luck where my softies attach to my stonies and end out killing my stonies, and I don't want that happening. And I've got one acro there, perfect example. All of those little waving hands right there, yeah, guess what? They're covering up. I got a tricolor bird's nest under there that had it naturally attached to the rock. And it's covered. Ooh. The Acans is doing good. This one's doing really good. He's about 80% attached to that, and see, when he gets mature enough, I'll just break off that whole top piece and carry them over, and I don't have to, you know, I don't like the reef plugs. I like stuff to look natural. This guy here is definitely the little green guy right there. He has definitely attached, and he's got new heads all over the place. And that's an old carcass. Not sure if that was laying around or if that's the one I got at a garage sale. I've got 4 or 5 of those old heads of acro. Zoe's a fucking, they're spreading out like crazy, as are my ones there. And you know, I've traded a few things around. These other Zoes are doing really good too. My frog spawns, they're doing okay. They don't really like this big light, but I've got them kind of shaded now, and they seem to be spreading out among the sands, so hey, you know, and they're pretty. They're flowering out every day. And my Halimita is doing well. I'm going to do the Halimita in this tank eventually, but for right now I just want that one to come up with Chaeto, because I want to experiment with the Chaeto and I want to see what grows in it. I just like watching the teeny shit at night. Fuck, it's oddball comparison. 70 sitting there next to him. Fucking 10. Anyway, we'll holler at y'all fuckers and fuckets later. I just figured I'd update you on the progress. And oh yeah, I got that other Echozotic. That's a 403 NM with a polished reflector down there. The only thing I don't like about it is the plastic is starting to delaminate from the LEDs. So I'm not really too happy with Echozotic's quality. I think I'm going to end up buying another one of those, and I'm just going to, before I put it on the tank next time, the new one, I'm just going to dip it in fiberglass, clear fiberglass resin, and call it good. This is my top-off system. It's nothing more than a piece of airline hose and a gallon jug, and this is how I know when to top off. This is my high mark, and what I did is I filled this one, let this one get full. Actually up to here I kind of started wiping these marks off, because that was originally going to be my high mark and then the pump wouldn't suck, so I decided, well, alright. So now when it gets about an inch below there, I just know to add half a gallon or gallon and call it good. Alright, we'll holler at y'all fuckers and fuckettes later.